Hello and welcome to the Unscripted podcast with Kieran and Louie. Today's episode, number 4, is all about the fashion industry and what it's become. So why don't we begin by just talking about what is fashion?
What's fashion to you, Kieran? That's what I want to know.
Right, okay. Fashion to me is all about the current trends and setting the trends, i.e. catwalks, high-end brands, and then how that funnels down the food chain, if you like. I think fashion's ever changing, whereas something like style is definitely permanent to me. I think someone can always be stylish, but fashion is just going with what the current trends are.
Do you feel like your sense of fashion and what you wear has changed over the years, even more recently? And how quickly has it changed?
I would say over the past year, it's definitely changed. I mean, used to wear sort of joggies and shorts, and then transitioned to wearing like chinos. I then went for a turtleneck phase, which was still
I didn't like that.
relevant. I mean, I still like my good turtleneck, but nowadays I just wear a lot of tutorial-related items of fashion, items of clothing. I think it's more stylish.
Could you give a brief description of what sartorial means for people who don't know?
I mean, think suits, that sort of thing. Think Italian style. That's essentially what it is. You know, shirts, braces.
Isn't it tailor-made as well?
Yeah, usually. If you can afford bespoke luxury items, which is something we can discuss later on.
Yeah. And so you think style is more a permanent thing with people?
Yeah.
And do you think people can become stylish over time, or do you think it's a more kind of thing that's from early on?
I mean, I think over time, as you grow older, your tastes become more sharp and acquired, and you learn to find what works for you. And I think within that, you can stay stylish. Whereas things to do with fashion, it's like bum bags. Like, why are they a thing? That's not stylish. That's not a cool look. That's just a fashion thing. I know you might disagree on that.
Yeah, it's alright. I'm not offended in any way. It's fine.
I mean, I get that they're practical. They're practical, but you know,
that's
I would much prefer my satchel or duffel bag.
Yeah, suppose different fashion senses for different people, different styles for different people. It's all subjective. No one's going to like one style. Everybody's different.
I mean, that's the great thing, I suppose, is that everybody is different. Everyone has their own style. And it's just about finding what you like and what you're comfortable in and just sort of embracing that.
Do you feel like you've fully embraced your style yet in fashion?
At this point, yes. I mean, it did take a lot of persuading, and there was a lot of strange looks, and even still, there's a lot of strange looks. I remember when I went through the fedora phase, I was walking about near my house, and I was wearing a fedora, and this young boy pointed at me and was like, "Who's that?" And like the grandmother said, "That's an old man." It's like,
I feel like when I'm with you, you get called sir, and I get treated like some kind of hip, kind of young adult, whereas you get treated like some kind of elder. Who's like treating you with respect, whereas they just kind of look at me as like a student or something.
It's definitely a strange thing, because when things like suits, it brings on a sort of weird respect for no reason. People assume that you're important or powerful in some way, which is far from the case. But people just are extra nice to you for whatever reason. And even that trickles down to types of shops as well. You know, if you want to go into sort of sartorial shops, tailor-made places, they're overly nice to everyone. Calling you sir or this gentleman. It's just a whole different sort of world compared to going into somewhere more mainstream or sort of hip
Yeah,
So
I
it's
feel like
it's a
you get
different consumer base.
yeah, I feel like you get a different kind of what's the word? Don't know. I think it's respect, and it's also kind of, as you said, authority and kind of stature in a way. Like you're like standing out from the crowd, and you're kind of different in that sense, and kind of yeah. That's how I see people who wear sartorial items and kind of that in comparison to people like me who are kind of more hip, kind of not wearing suits every day and kind of shirts and tailor-made things.
I mean, it's definitely something to get used to, and I'm still not quite fully there. I do enjoy the odd grey pair of joggies to lounge about in, but I mean, there's definitely a place for street fashion, a sort of hip fashion. That's the sort of new trend, if you like.
Yeah.
That's the new fashion interest.
I feel like it's definitely kicking off more with things like the trainer industry and kind of bespoke items in the sense of like limited edition kind of collabs with like artists or sports people. And I think that's kind of kicking off because the prices for some of those shoes are insane. It's like 20
Yeah.
grand for a pair of shoes
Don't you
wrapped in
have like a
plastic.
fancy pair of like NASA collab shoes or something?
Yeah, NASA and Puma collabs. Most
There you go.
expensive shoes I've bought, and they went up in value.
There you go. You
So,
might become a sneaker flipper,
nah, no chance.
buying and selling. And
No chance.
I mean, there's an industry for that.
Yeah,
Quite
it's expanding to say the least.
people go crazy for their off-white sneakers or their Yeezys.
The thing with off white, right? It's nice and it looks good, but it's not worth the money at all. And people only buy it to say, "Oh, I've got off white." They don't buy it for the kind of the look. They just buy it for the brand.
Yeah,
And I think that's
absolutely.
I think that's the main difference. That's the main difference between street fashion and kind of sartorial. I think like if you want to buy a nice white shirt, you can buy it in like any kind of high-end sartorial kind of outlet shop. Whereas for like shoes, it's all about the certain brand, that certain thing, and kind of that name. Whereas that's the main difference, I think. Yeah.
And that's the thing is people often lose sight of things like quality. I mean, they're paying a premium price for things like Supreme, but is it a better quality? Not particularly.
No.
Not necessarily.
No. No, I don't think they spend much making all these things as well. And they're all made in like China in these factories and things like that. Obviously, there's an exception with some high-end kind of shoes and like trainers, but on the general scheme of things, it's like these £70 Nike shoes will like take £4 to be made or something. It's insane.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And then they sell them at a premium for £80, £100 upwards.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. So do you want to talk about, as we're talking about costs, do you want to go more into the whole thing about low-end places and high-end places? So like Primark, as you mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, Primark's an interesting one. Or Pennies, as it's known in Ireland. It's because they don't have an online store. And so it's all in store. And obviously now with the sort of pandemic, I don't know how they're going to survive. I know they're reopening soon in England, but it's going to be absolute mayhem.
I saw a thing about all the stock that should have been used during the lockdown. It's going to be on like sale for like 20p, 30p pound and stuff like that. It's going to be absolute chaos there.
Yeah, because people love their cheap and cheerful clothing. I mean, who doesn't love getting a t-shirt for £2?
Yeah, do you think stuff like that is kind of trying to, do you think like the capitalist kind of outlets are trying to like kind of instigate kind of chaos within lower end of society with things like that, with like kind of black market kind of Black Friday kind of things?
I mean, yes and no. Like Black Friday started off as a good concept, and then now it's just getting ridiculous. Because when you watch brands, it's all sort of an illusion where they'll
Yeah,
bring prices down, but they'll bump them up just prior to Black Friday, so it looks like you're getting a good deal. When actually sometimes it's cheaper throughout the year.
yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, like this. Can't remember what TV company it was. They were selling TVs at like £200, like 4 weeks before, but Black Friday, and then like they bumped it up to like 220, and said, "Oh, you've got a massive bargain, like 25% off."
Mm.
I think it was Panasonic. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
things like
interesting how
that.
they
Like,
manipulate it.
well, that's it. It's manipulating the public and your consumers,
Mm-hmm.
which I mean isn't morally right, but they can get away with it.
Do you think, in relation to all these kind of Black Friday things, do you think high-end places will go down that route, or do you think they'll just kind of bump up their prices slightly and say they're doing it due to the current circumstances and climate of the market?
Probably the latter. I mean, with these sort of high end places, there's very seldom any sales, and even when there is sales, it's still extortionate. But again, it's that debate of sort of quality, and quite often you're getting high end materials and fabrics, and so it's sort of worth it because if you take care of these garments or accessories, then they can last a lifetime.
Do you think people will become more self-conscious about the things they buy and kind of cut back or kind of spend kind of sparsely, but on really kind of important, long-lasting things rather than just kind of being on this kind of consumerist kind of train that is going at like 200 miles an hour or more?
I mean, it's a real mixed bag. I'm definitely more of the sort of saving and buying more expensive things that will last. Because I mean, it's all about breaking it down to sort of cost per wear. If you're buying like a £200 pair of jeans, but they last like 5, 6 plus years. Whereas like say like a £20, £30 pair of jeans, where you're buying them like once, twice a year, and it all sort of soon adds up.
I'm definitely on the side of kind of saving up and buying things that have more meaning, kind of more value. But as you said, there's always a kind of a want for these kind of like £3 kind of deals because you know it's a bargain
Yeah,
and that's the kind of trick. That it's a trick. It is a trick to get you to buy stuff.
I mean, yeah, when you can get like today, I bought a pair of nice premium con socks that I got on sale for £149. Like, who doesn't love a bargain like that?
Yeah.
There's always going to be a
But
place for that.
yeah, I think the want for loads of kind of material objects in relation to fashion and clothes and things like that will kind of decrease a lot, or we'll see a lot more kind of panic and kind of almost kind of riot, not like riot circumstances with these kind of like Black Friday kind of sales, kind of just like absolute chaos, rather than this constant flow of consumerist kind of money income for these kind of businesses.
I think it's also people buying to stop other people from having it as well. Like, they
Yeah.
don't actually perhaps need these things, but it's like, well, I'm going to get it so no one else can.
Yeah, I don't know if that will last though, because I think people will be more kind of self-aware about their bills now and kind of trying to survive rather than kind of conforming to the kind of new trends, new this, new that, new clothes, new bargains. I think that will decrease quite significantly for quite a long
See,
time.
I think it's going to be the opposite. I think there's going to be a huge surge in consumerism. And we've seen, sort of, this isn't really related to fashion, but we've seen a big surge in obviously sort of video on demand products, things like Netflix, Amazon Prime, Now TV, Hulu, all those sort of things. Obviously, 'cause people are indoors, trapped indoors. And once that ends, people are going to want to get out, going to want to pick up clothes, go to Primark and get their tops. And I'll be doing it. There's no denying. So I think there'll be a big surge in consumerism.
It's just it's whether there'll be a huge drop and how long that drop will be. Obviously, there will be a spike because everybody will be like, "I'm free," and kind of, I want to buy loads of stuff because I've been not spending any money for like 4 months. But it's whether there'll be a drop and how long that drop will kind of continue.
But again, people are buying online nowadays. The high street is dying, and so. But see, I don't really like buying online because quite often things don't fit. You have to have the hassle of returning it all via post, and I feel like it's more expensive. I want to go into a store, be able to see what I'm buying, try it on, feel the fabric, see that it's high quality.
Do you think they should set up something like you kind of order stuff online and you can go in and try that stuff that you've ordered? Like that kind of concept of buying online still, because people like doing it because it's quick and easy, and then going in to get it and trying it on and then taking it home. It's still incorporating both. It's like, because obviously when we have to still social distance, shops will have to be open, so something like that could kind of incorporate both worlds.
I mean, that's
rather
not really
than having everybody in the shop.
That's not really an issue for like places like say like M&S.
Nah, I mean for like
mainstream. Yeah, but yeah, I suppose things like Primark or if like ASOS or is it ASOS? ASOS. If
ASOS,
they had like some sort of like pop-up store, places like that. Is it Shein or something? That Shein? Online place. SHEIN, whatever that is. Places like that. If they had like a sort of pop-up store. But again, then like if they have a pop-up store, then you would just go into the store and try it on there, and buy it. But I'm a sort of.
I think. Yeah, go on. No, go on.
I'm a sort of very hands-off approach when it comes to buying. Like if I go into a place, and this seems to be more of a problem when you go into tutorial shops, but you get followed about by a salesperson who tries to guide you through the entire process, which is fine. But I'm much more of a please leave me alone while I look type of person, and if I need help, I'll ask it. Yeah. I think there needs to be a sort of approach where it's like you walk in the door and they say hello, and then that's it.
I think it'll be a lot more
leave me alone after that.
Yeah, I think it'll be a lot more distant now. No one will be trying to follow you around the house, the shop.
That's beneficial in my eyes.
Yeah.
Because I'm also one of those people that's like, if a salesperson's following me around, I feel guilty. I feel like I need to then buy something.
Yeah, you feel like those eyes looking at you from the back of your head will like kind of pressure you in to kind of buy stuff. I think it's a trick that they use, obviously, to try and pressure you into getting something, even if it's like, I don't know, $10 or something, or $5, just anything. I think it's a trick.
Oh. Turning my light on because it's too dark now.
Yeah, and that's suddenly
got dark. But and like when you go into these sort of high-end places, one thing I've learned is that if there's no prices on the items, then get out of there immediately. Yeah, it's going to be very expensive.
And it's going to be a big sales pitch of like 20 minutes on why you have to buy that certain object. And they'll just follow you around until you make a decision. Which is, I don't think that's a very good thing in these kind of high-end kind of places. I think they should kind of ease off of it.
Because when I see places,
it makes other people feel unwelcome.
That's it. Because their sort of overly friendliness quite often puts people off.
Yeah.
It certainly sort of puts me off because I'm like, oh well, I know if I go in here, then a person's going to follow me about the entire time and put pressure on me to buy something, which shouldn't be the case. Do you remember, like, I went into a place in Savile Row last year, and it was just, it was good, right? It was a good experience, but, this person, I was looking for a pair of socks, like cashmere socks, and this person pulled out, like, so many drawers and pairs, and was standing there for 5 minutes while we pulled them out, And I was like, nah, I'm okay, I'm not wanting socks. But it's like, it could have just sort of let me be in sort of how I wander around. And I could have said, nah, I'm not, I'm not wanting any. And then when you get to the till, and I was picking up 2 things, and it was extortionate. It's like, I had no idea. I was too naive.
Your face when you saw the price. I was sitting there laughing at the door, like, what has he just done?
I mean, I was internally screaming.
Yeah, I could see you were internally screaming for the items you bought.
But I suppose it's like, at the moment, I just can't justify spending, say, like £400 on a jumper, or like £6,000 on a bespoke suit. Like,
yeah, I don't think anyone can.
That's way off at the moment.
Yeah,
Perhaps one day in the future, but no.
That's why I think that people will be a lot more cautious about stuff. Obviously, they'll still buy stuff, but I feel like there will be a surge, but it won't be a bigger surge than people think. And I think people, like as you just said, people won't want to buy a £400 jumper or £200 pair of shoes or something like that. It'll be just a lot less, or something big in like a longer amount of time.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really what people should be doing, is buying quality over quantity.
Yeah,
so it's better from a cost per wear perspective. It lasts longer. Though at the time, like, yes, spending £200 on a pair of jeans is quite a lot, to be fair. But they're going to last you 5-6 years, multiple washes, so it actually sort of works out cheaper in the long run.
You can get a pair of jeans from anywhere. 15 quid, you'll be fine. It's alright.
I mean, I swear by my Tiger Sweden jeans. They're fantastic. Although, to be fair, I got them for a tenner in a charity shop in the West End. But, like, brand new, they're like £200. But it just shows you, though, like, this person's must have had them for a while, and then they were still in really good condition when I got them, and they still are, like, for the past year. So, I mean, it's a premium.
A lot?
Yeah. Believe it or not.
Fair enough. Yeah.
But I mean, that's because more recently I've been converting to the hipster ways. I've been more in my sort of street fashion, if you like.
Well, I suppose no one can really flaunt a suit at the moment, can they?
No, I need a good linen suit. It's nice and breathable.
That sounds scary. I'm staying away from all that.
But I mean, there's definitely a sort of niche place, I suppose, for high-end fashion. Whether it is suits or things like Supreme or things like Gucci. Like, what's your thoughts on those sort of companies? Like Gucci,
Gucci,
Versace, all that sort of thing.
I think having something like that, if you're male or female, I think having an item of clothing, perfume or something from there, anything, makes you feel better and kind of worth more than you think you are, and that kind of boosts your kind of morale about things and kind of, I don't know, just like boosts your confidence. That's why I think people buy stuff from there, because you can say, oh, I've got something from here, look at this, or I'm wearing
it's a power move.
Yeah, it's a power move, but I think it's good for people to have some piece of clothing like that you go to kind of boost your confidence to wear, and that you know when you go out you'll feel happy about what you wear and kind of comfortable.
Yeah.
So,
and I've never personally got anything for the likes of Gucci and that. I don't really see the point. Like, you see things like off-white belts that are extortionate. It's like, what's the point?
Yeah, that's just buying into the kind of hype kind of culture of like being a hype beast.
But then I'm not really a fan of like logos. Obviously, like if you're wearing like shoes and that, then yeah, fair enough. But I don't really like having big brands plastered across my chest.
I suppose the thing with like Gucci and stuff, they don't really have the brand plastered all over it in most things. But like that's why I think people buy it, because it's high end and people know it's Gucci, but they don't know it's Gucci at the same time. So it's like it's not as kind of prominent. Something like Nike or Adidas, so they've got like the brand all over it and just like in bold writing. That's why I think people buy stuff like Gucci, Supreme, and Versace and all that.
And that's the thing about these brands, is they have so much commercial power that, you know, people are wearing their stuff daily. You see that all around you, and it's like free advertising. I mean, they're worth millions or billions, perhaps.
Subconscious messaging constantly going into your head, constantly keeping you awake. It's just like constant until that's the way advertisement and kind of consumerism is meant to be. Well, for them,
It's
to make
constantly
money.
fed. It's all about
Yeah,
feeding the people in that sense.
Totally agree. Yeah.
But would you ever consider buying something like a high-end suit?
Yeah, I would. Because it has, as you said previously, longevity and kind of just, I think a bespoke suit or something like that, I don't know, jacket or anything like that, of significant value, even a watch, I think that holds kind of value for the time you bought it at, and it kind of holds a memory. Whereas, like, say a £15 pair of jeans or something like that doesn't hold a memory. Really, to be honest, you don't look at it and think, "Oh yeah, it was then." But it's like something really high end, and that you're like, "Oh yeah, I've kept this for a long time, and I bought it then. I remember that." I think that.
I mean,
that element of it is important.
I'm definitely I buy into the whole watch thing, but again, it's entirely dependent on brand. You know, some brands don't hold their value, and as soon as you walk out of that shop, it immediately depletes. But I suppose if you're buying things like Rolexes and all that, they sort of hold their value, generally speaking.
I think Rolex on the whole is a nice kind of brand for watches. They've got a few nice things, but it's not like, I don't think it's the kind of best kind of watch brand out there at all.
I'd much rather buy a Breitling. I'm more of a Grand Seiko or a Mega type of guy. But again, it's like £4,000 entry level for watches, which is a bit off at the moment.
Yeah,
and then you go into your high end ones like Patek Philippe, where you're paying 50k for a watch.
I think those type of prices are just obscene and insane, and kind of like, you shouldn't be spending that amount, especially at 20 years old or something like that. It's like some people who are really young just go out and spend loads and loads of money on these clothes, watches and stuff like that, and then later in life they're kind of racked up in debt and kind of. So I think the whole thing about picking and choosing that we've talked about is very important, especially with the current climate and what's going to happen as well.
I mean, and I think it's also this sort of idea of sort of materialism and trying to sort of make yourself happy through inanimate objects. You know, like you can't really, that sort of saying, you can't buy happiness, but you can buy things like clothes, and that makes you happy sometimes, but you know, they don't really long term.
Well, the thing about wealth, having a certain amount of wealth and kind of being able to buy objects like clothes and things like that, does give you happiness, but it's not permanent. Like a memory or a relationship with someone or something like that, it's not permanent. It's like a dose of happiness, and it's like how long it'll last, you don't know really, and it could just burn out really quickly. You could have the watch for a day and be like, "Oh, I don't like it anymore," or you're like, "I won't wear it much."
And that's the thing with these big investments. It's so important that you're certain before you drop £4,000 on a watch, or £6,000 on a suit. You need to be certain that this is what you're wanting, and your heart's set on it. Because often then, if you drop that amount, it's too late to go back.
Yeah, I think spending that amount of money on kind of things like that is kind of hard to fathom at our age, especially because like we're young and kind of like we want to experience stuff, but at the same time, it's like if you really want something, you've got the money, go for it. But it's like if are you doing it just because you want to follow a trend, or are you doing it because you really like that and you've been following and saving up for it? It's that difference.
Yeah, exactly. It's about being sensible and being realistic about what takes priority at the moment. Like, do I need to spend $3,000 on a bespoke suit, like entry level at the moment? I could, but I don't need to. It doesn't make sense at the moment. I don't need that sort of suit in my life. There's more important things at the moment to spend money on. But I think the idea of saving up long term, whether it's over 6 months, a year, 2 years, whatever, your life, and treating yourself is rewarding. Saving up and buying your dream watch, and you have that for the rest of your life and pass it down to your children.
Yeah, that whole thing about it being generational is kind of important as well. It's like family watches, family jewelry, family kind of thing. I think that's important as well. Kind of high-end things that we're talking about as well, as a family value and kind of family memory, not just your memory.
I'm definitely into sort of picking up things that have sentimental value. Like when I went to Rome, I got a watch, and that sort of reminds me of my experience and time in Rome. Oh, and went to London and got a bow tie.
Yeah,
that reminds me of my time in London. There's different things like that. And it doesn't need to always be, expensive things, but it's things that hold sentimental value and are important to you.
Yeah, it could be a keychain from the place you go, and it's just like you hang up on your wall, you look at it, and you're like, oh yeah, I remember that. Or it's yeah, exactly. Keychains I don't know where I've got stuff on my keychain that reminds me.
Although funnily enough, only one of those keychains is actually mine. The rest were gifts from other people.
Yeah, but even if they're gifts, it's like it reminds you of the people giving you them gifts, and it holds kind of more value, like sentimental value over kind of price and worth. I think sentimental value is very important as well when you're buying things. As well, receiving gifts.
On the flip side, though, I'm definitely now I can see myself sort of buying into the hype with a lot of things, especially as I sort of mix up my style and wear sort of more hipster clothes. I'm out here buying Converse and just different fashionable.
You have to be careful. Yeah, you have to be careful with that stuff though as well. The whole kind of market of fake kind of hype stuff is kind of very prominent and kind of scary.
It's easy to buy into.
Yeah, because you could just buy into loads of fake stuff and just not know.
Because you can go into Primark or M&S or whatever and buy like a pair of cheap plimsolls that look the exact same as the likes of Converse, but they don't have the Converse logo on it. It's all about having that logo and saying, oh yes, I've bought Converse, as an example.
Yeah.
Whereas they're actually probably not far off in terms of quality. It's just one has a logo on it, so it means they can charge double, triple the price.
That taps into the whole consumer society as well. Everything's linked, and it's kind of like without the logo, it doesn't really hold its value, and with the logo, it does. And that's kind of what consumerism wants from the buyer.
Yeah. And I think now, with everything that's happened in the world, that whole landscape of consumerism is sort of ever changing, and I don't quite think it'll be the same again. I think people are going to be a lot more cautious with their money, and they'll probably save up more. I think there'll be an initial spike, but after that I think people will be a lot more sensible, hopefully, with what they buy and what they consume.
Any more kind of final thoughts on anything? No.
Not personally. I think that's a nice place to end it, I suppose.
Yeah, it's good.
What about yourself?
Good place to end it. I think what you said is very important. The whole thing about people being more cautious, especially around current climates and what's going on. But apart from that, nothing else to really add. So.
There we go. We'll be back next week with another episode of Unscripted.